Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Fresh off the heels of my closed beta review that I released yesterday, I decided to make a standalone video going over the player satisfaction survey that they then promptly released after the closed beta was done. Now, while I largely enjoyed what I got to play of the closed beta, there were definitely a few things that I had some concerns about, things that I also outlined in that review. But they posted all of the survey results, all the things people liked, all the things people didn't like, and adjustments they will be making. I haven't read through all of these yet, so I figured I might as well make a video covering those topics because I'm sure that a lot of people are going to be introduced to mobile games, gacha elements like that for the first time with Ever Crisis. I've already spoken to a few people that have never played a mobile game, never had any interest in a mobile game, but they love Final Fantasy VII, so they want to try this out, see if they like it, see if it's okay, and it's pretty important to understand as many elements as possible about what the dev team's intentions are and how the game will likely proceed going forward. So, with that, we have a lot to look over here, so I think all we can really do is get started. So, first of all, the overall closed beta test player feedback was largely positive. I mean, there's 90% of people that say they want to play, and it'd be 99 if they improve certain parts of it. So most of the people who filled out the survey want to play it. Now, keep in mind, we all know that almost nobody fills out the survey. You go to Target, they say, hey, fill this out for a chance at $500. You're like, I'll do that, and you never do it. Probably the same here, so we don't have the exact number of people who filled it out. But either way, the people who did go out of their way were very pleased to say that they liked it. And I'm used to the internet going the other way with it, with the people who didn't like something being the ones to make sure their voice is heard. So it's definitely on the surprising factor. Now, the overall comments were the graphics were good. They liked the Final Fantasy VII world and atmosphere, the favorable that players can enjoy the entire Final Fantasy series stories. That's one of the biggest things, is that like Advent Children's going to be in it eventually, Before Crisis, the flip phone game, and even the brand new story with First Soldier, which is the now canceled BR. Great music, no surprise there. But then some negatives. Small buttons and text result in poor user experience navigating menus. I agree. I misclick things a lot, and I played a lot of mobile games. This thing has seen a lot of work, and yeah, I play them on a tablet too, not even a phone. And I had issues navigating the menus in Ever Crisis as well. So that was definitely one for me. And not enough enhancement materials and stamina makes it hard to enjoy gameplay. There's some elements about that I kind of agree with. Some I was willing to sort of benefit of the doubt because the beta was put together in a very strange way. I mentioned this in the review video where they seem to want to hop around to certain things to get us to try certain things, but it left this huge power trough where you needed a ton of materials in order to realistically kind of take that next step to unlock more features. And that was a slow slog and grind for a number of reasons, not least of all, the fact that your stamina recharges were limited per day. So if you wanted to do things like the enhancement material quests, you were kind of sunk in a lot of ways. And that's very unusual because Square is actually normally very good with stamina in their games. So almost so much so that you wonder why they bother to put it in. That being said, they did still address this. They, of course, acknowledge all the positives here, but I know that a lot of you want to focus on the things that people didn't like. You're looking for the reason not to play, not necessarily a reason to play. You already know why you would play it in the most part. So, what are they going to improve? The menu is not easy to use and not enough enhancement materials. First of all, they're removing that limit on stamina tonics, which are your stamina recharges that can be used. So if you have a bunch spare, if you have like 100 of them tucked away and you want to just go, you absolutely can. They will also adjust the amount of materials that you get or that are required specifically based on the feedback they receive. So the ability to get more materials and the reduction of how many materials you actually need. The amount of materials you need for early game sections is normally where a lot of these games make or break in people's interest. If they feel like they log in for the day, do a bunch and get nowhere, then that definitely hinders people. I mean, going to other mobile games, I know Genshin, it was always super discouraging, for example, to log in, spend all of your energy, get terrible artifacts, and just realize that in your dailies and you're done. And just kind of leave feeling like, well, that was an awful day. And you don't want people to leave the game like that. So early game enhancements for stuff like this is important to even get people to that point where they're kind of struggling for late game stuff instead. Lack of playable content. I don't agree with lack of playable content. Which is funny because I think maybe the survey mentioned, yeah, I mean, it doesn't even mention that anywhere. They just threw that in there. It just felt like, again, that Power Trough made it hard to get between the different things, but there was a pretty good spread of stuff that I saw in there. I mean, you have the enhancement quest, the Criterion quest, you have the actual story quest, the hard mode story quest, you have the challenge towers. Like there are things, those are things that I generally expect in a lot of mobile games. They're very normal things to see, but I don't normally expect them on launch. So seeing that all those things were there was actually enough for me, and I got to experience a fair portion of them. But that being said, they're going to make improvements on the storyline and content in the release version. Obviously, we didn't get to experience everything the full game is going to have. So more of the original Final Fantasy VII, more of First Soldier, more of Crisis Core. And then the question is, what else are they going to put in on launch? And then on top of that, they're going to be refining stuff like the menus and whatnot. So those are going to perform better as well. So UI adjustments, removal of limit on stamina tonics, on stamina boosts, and adjust the type and amount of materials required for certain growth. So that was the overall, but that wasn't where the survey ended. And I haven't read anything past this point other than like regarding responses regarding story dungeon content. So like I've read that and then I've stopped. So let's see. Were you able to enjoy the entire story? Please choose an answer that applies to you. 76% said they did enjoy, 21% someone enjoyed, and then 3% didn't really and didn't outright enjoy. So were you able to enjoy? I mean, it's a truncated version of the Final Fantasy VII story. If you don't mind like particular elements and like if you're not obsessing over every line you know being there, then it's kind of hard to go wrong. The First Soldier section was, in my opinion, better done than the rest, which is probably because it's a brand new story, so they don't have to truncate it really. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. The biggest problem was that jump in power that was required that made progressing any further a little annoying. Did you enjoy the dungeon exploration parts? Yeah, I mean, enjoyed or somewhat enjoyed the fact that that's, 94%. Not too surprising. It's super basic. I mean, you jump into the level and search around, and there are sometimes secrets. Like I remember finding a cactuar tucked away in a corner, and the dungeon itself did say, hey, one of the secret missions was defeat a cactuar, and I had to find the spot on the map where it was. Little things like that are okay. They're very digestible, but they're not expansive. They're not like, oh my goodness, this is amazing, it's exciting. It's just kind of nice to see the areas updated in kind of like a fashion that's familiar to someone who knows Final Fantasy VII. So it definitely doesn't wow. It's not a wow factor of any kind. Overall comment, story's easy to follow. Yeah, it's super truncated. The stylized low poly models are very high quality. One of the big points is that it is basically made like the original, where walking around the world, you have these kind of more polygonal models, but they're like updated from the really old ones of the PlayStation 1 era. And then in combat, it looks like 7 Remake. I mean, that is literally what people who were initially asking for a remake kind of envisioned in a sense. I think maybe more so they would have liked the same like super intense graphics the entire time, but that's faithful, I suppose, is the best way to put it. The new original First Soldier story is enjoyable. Yeah, again, I think it was really, really good. It felt like there was a lot more effort in it. So yeah, that's off to a good start. The balance of nostalgia and novelty is great. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't have any complaints about this. So other than the maps being kind of simple, which is not really a complaint so much as an observation, because it's not like I was going in expecting to be blown away by the maps or anything. So yeah, because they were so good, the responses were so good in this particular regard, they're actually giving out a free 5-star for anyone who did participate in the closed beta. So sorry if you didn't get to play, you will not get this weapon automatically. I, however, will, so I'll let you know how it is. Maybe they'll make it available in some other way. I've seen them do this with other mobile games as well, where they kind of release these like limited time weapons and somehow they kind of loop back around. I remember in Opera Omnia, I don't remember how I got it. It was like the Buster Sword that you could get. I think that was from like pre-registration or something. I don't remember how I got the Buster Sword. Oh no, I think it had something to do with the Cydia NT. I don't remember. I'm going to stop trying to remember. Either way, yeah. Responses regarding battle, 70% enjoyed, 26% someone enjoyed, and then 4% didn't really or didn't enjoy. That's actually a higher enjoyed percentage, because I do think that the pacing of battle when you are trying to play all 3 party members by yourself is a little tough. Now, fortunately, you can just kind of leave 2 of your AI to do whatever. In fact, you can leave your whole team to auto battle, and you can, if you're overpowered, which does happen a lot in the early game in these style of games, then you can kind of just let it go through and you kind of just reap the rewards. When you start getting involved and having to make a lot of decisions, it's actually very fast. You know, it's an ATB system that's much sped up over what you would expect from, the olden days. And controlling all 3 party members and doing that efficiently can definitely be a little bit intimidating. It's kind of like trying to actively control all your party members in Final Fantasy XII with active mode on instead of wait mode. Maybe even a little bit, it's about the same as that, actually maybe a little less involved than that. That can be a lot of fun for some, but it can be intimidating for a lot too. And then when you're auto battling, you're not really getting that engaged with the combat system. I think that the battle system shines the most in multiplayer when everyone is controlling one person and you can really focus more on what is the correct decision in the moment. Why did I join this party? What is my role given the character that I selected versus the boss that I'm fighting? There's a lot more time to make decisions, so the pacing works a lot better. So overall comments, the battle productions and graphics are very good. No surprise there. Fast-paced battles were fun. Yes, they're very fast-paced compared to what you might be expecting. Auto mode, comfortable to play in. I do think auto mode sometimes makes very weird decisions. I sometimes find myself forcing auto mode to make different decisions or going on semi-auto mode just to, fix a couple of things. Coming up with strategies is fun. Yeah, there were some missions where I just kind of took it slow and made things work when I couldn't get like auto to work, for example. Battles were long and monotonous. Now I noticed this again, a result of that power trough, where when I tried to go up to the next difficulty of things, it was a huge struggle. So I had to really rethink the way I was doing things, and then again farm a bunch of materials, which is then how you notice the stamina problem. I didn't find that battles were too long or monotonous except at that point, but the question becomes how they will be in more difficult content. When I think of other mobile games and the most difficult content that they've often offered me, I think of things like Boundless Nemesis, which is like the last time I played Record Keeper, rest in peace Global. I think of Opera Omnia and like the really high difficulty, like the 200 plus, eventually 250, and all the other Cosmos difficulty and all that stuff like way up there, which got really excessively long unless you were like, going absolutely ham with all the characters that you had. So I never felt like anything was that long, but I've been exposed to a lot of that stuff. Other people who are playing this, maybe not so much. But I feel like people felt that way about 7 Remake at times too, when they didn't fully grasp it, because those fights took a really long time if you didn't fully understand the game. Running out of time was stressful. Yeah, that was silly. I didn't even know that was a possibility until I was doing an enhancement quest that was like 6 levels over me just to see if I could beat it. And I was almost done and I ran out of time. And I was like, what? I didn't even notice the timer in the top right was ticking because I was just focusing on everything. So that was a definite, like, there's no reason to have that. Like, I get it. You don't want people to turtle strap, but it's not fun. Bottom line. Unable to defeat strong enemies despite exceeding the recommended power. Yeah, that often happened with auto, specifically against behemoths, because one of their attacks that you can interrupt hits you while it's charging, and it hits very hard. So that was the particular one that I felt that problem on. And unable to participate in co-op due to limited time periods. Yeah, I assume that was just for the beta. I assume that was just like so they could focus everyone. Like, oh, in this hour, everyone who's playing the closed beta is going to do it, so we can like stress test it and get as many people participating as possible. But that was annoying. Yeah, I did have some time in there, but that was definitely annoying. Almost 95% of respondents rated battle as enjoyed or somewhat enjoyed. Title utilizes the ATB while aiming to update it for mobile devices in order to ensure a fun and attractive user experience. We have received feedback that the battles are long and monotonous, but at the same time, it is fun to come up with battle strategies. We have not released all the battle content in the closed beta. We have more content available for official service. We've intentionally designed the content so players progress at an enjoyable speed while training their characters and start to feel the strategic elements in the higher difficulty content. There are areas that need to be improved, such as the time limit, glitches in co-op, and inconsistencies in recommended battle power. We are working to fix them with the official release, and we hope you're looking forward to playing the improved full version of the game. Yeah, the recommended power really depended on what you were fighting. If I didn't fight a behemoth, but the recommended power was like 5,000 over me, I normally could just blast through it. But the recommended power could be 2,000 or 3,000 under me and have a behemoth in it, and it would feel like it was like 5,000 above me. So it was really just what felt like an imbalance of that particular enemy. And maybe the third soldier, the soldier third rank, third class, they might that trio might have also been a little on the high note, but I managed to beat them, so I didn't really feel that was too bad. Planned adjustments, content difficulty adjustments, reassessing recommended power level, extending the time limit, not removing, extending. However, removing the time limit to participate in co-op, meaning that it's not going to be a limited time thing. I mean, again, I just figured that was only a closed beta thing anyway, but maybe it was a permanent plan and they're now removing that. Who knows? Battle UI adjustments. Cool. And then some final comments from the development team. The development team is very grateful to everyone that signed up and played. Thank you for your participation. We're extremely thankful for the many bug reports we received. With your help, we are now able to work to resolve the issues brought to our attention before the official service launch. The feedback we shared here is only a portion of the many other comments we have received. We are working on a wide range of improvements in addition to those detailed here in order to create a game that will meet everyone's expectations. Please stay updated by following our official Twitter page, where we'll be posting the latest information regarding the game. The team is working hard to ensure that everyone can play the game as soon as possible. We're hoping you wait just a little longer before the official launch, which, yeah, September 7th. I think even though this game was, I think, supposed to come out last summer, I think at this point everyone just assumed it wasn't going to come out until really close to Rebirth. But this is kind of a nice bridge. 16 just came out. Now it's, you know, it's on its downturn as, you know, everyone waits for the PC version or maybe an Xbox version or something down the line, or potential DLC or whatever they plan on doing. And then this will fill in a little bit of the gap for Final Fantasy, especially Final Fantasy VII diehards. And then Rebirth is, I mean, Rebirth is due out in like half a year. Like, we don't know when in winter it's due out exactly yet, but like it's very close. Like, it's crazy to think that this is coming out and we're really not that far from the second game in the remake series. So it's exciting, and I'll definitely be checking this out. Like I said, I've got plenty of experience with mobile games. I even just bought a new adapter for this so I can charge it and stream it at the same time without using a mirroring app. So that's nice. That's the only thing I bought from Dell in the last ever. So yeah, that's it for the survey. Let me know what you thought. If you got to play the closed beta, let me know what you thought in the comment section of the video below. If you want to know what my thoughts are, be sure to check out my video regarding the closed beta and my experiences with it. And with that, well, thanks for watching. I'll see all of you in the next video, and until then, take care.